Hey you guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you're new to my channel, make sure before we get into it, you're hitting that subscribe button to stay motivated, to stay inspired, right? And how to wise up and rise up from these narcissists. So if you clicked on this video, you want to know more about what do you do when the narcissist is acting certain behavioral traits to your kids when you're co-parenting. How can you handle that? What steps can you take to improve the situation? How can you co-parent with the narcissist when you're seeing those traits and there's not any changes to the situation? What can you do? The reason why I want to talk about this, because if you're new to my channel, I, again, used to be in an 18 years narcissistic abusive relationship, and now it's been a year and a half that he left me for his new supply, and we have a 14-year-old daughter together, and it's been a huge struggle to learn how to co-parent with this person, because at the end of the day, narcissists do not change their personality because of their kids. The same personality traits, sadly, that they have with you is the same personality traits that they have with their children. The same gaslighting, manipulation, everything that the narcissist does to you, unfortunately, does pass on and happen to the kids, right? Everybody's situation is different, because you may have a child that's a 3-year-old or a 2-year-old, but just because the child is young, they might still basically use those same tactics, not because on you instead of the child, because they're so young, right? But eventually, as the child gets older, and I could speak in that standpoint, in that case, my daughter is a teenager, those personality traits and exactly what they did to you is going to happen to the child. And again, the reason why I want to speak on this is because if you are following me on TikTok, on Sunday, yesterday, today is Monday, on Sunday, I went on live and I expressed to people, to show people how it's real lifetime. I still deal with mental and emotional abuse from the narcissist, right? I'm still experiencing challenges on learning how to co-parent with this narcissist. And this is why when I speak to my YouTube followers, to my TikTok followers, or whoever if I'm doing a coaching call, whatever that I speak about, I'm either I've experienced it, and I learned from it, and I'm grown from it, or I'm still growing from it, and I'm able to share with you guys tips and tools on how you also, no matter what situation you're going through, I can help teach you guys how to grow from it and learn from it as well. So this is why when I experienced a certain toxic situation with co-parenting with my narcissist on Sunday, I went on my live to share with people my experience, right? So I'm going to share with you guys on my YouTube now exactly that situation. So then now I'm going to tell you guys what tips I took, what tips and tools I utilized after that situation. So now when you hear this situation, you guys can take what resonates with you and leave what doesn't, to say, okay, this resonates with my story and what I'm currently going through co-parenting with the narcissist, and what doesn't, right? And then you can see the tips and tools that I took, that I implemented, really can help you as well in your situation. So what happened on Sunday with me and my narcissist is, at the end of the day, I seen that he was manipulating, gaslighting, and really taking advantage of my daughter in a situation. And when I seen that, I got very, very upset. Mama bear came out. And I got involved and I tried to express and help my ex narcissist understand what he was doing wrong and how, it's unfair to my daughter. And again, right off the bat, you guys, this is why I'm saying co-parenting really doesn't work with a narcissist, is that he got very defensive, he got upset, his ego, was getting bruised because, I was calling him out. And narcissists never want to hear what they're doing wrong. And even if they are in the wrong, they'll find an excuse to say, okay, no, I'm not wrong because of this. And then as soon as you try to help break it down, to help, they don't want help. It's what they say, and what they say matters, and that's it. And if you try to break it down and show them what they're doing wrong, they get offensive, because at the end of the day, who are you to go to them to show them what they're doing? Or who are you to tell them what to do, right? So there is no co-parenting to find, a way to come to the middle, right? Because at the end of the day, you're always going to be in the wrong, because they don't want to hear what they're doing wrong. They don't want to own up to their mistakes, even if they're doing these, mistakes and these things to their kids. They don't want to hear that they're wrong. It doesn't even matter if they're doing it to your kid, their kid. It doesn't, because at the end of the day, they don't feel that they're doing anything wrong. And no matter how much you try to help them to understand what they're doing is affecting the child, they'll turn around and blame it on you. They'll find anything possible to take the blame and put it on you. So at the end of the day, that's why I state that there's no point of co-parenting. And that's exactly what happened in my situation. Even though I was talking calmly to the narcissist, even though I was, trying to, be the mediator between him and my daughter and help him to understand that we are parents and that we have to know right or wrong for my daughter and guide her in the right. No, it was more so like, you don't know what you're talking about. They're always going to pin it on you, that you're wrong, it's all your fault, and they'll make you feel like you're doing a shitty job as a parent. So there's no helping the narcissist understand what they're doing is affecting the kids. There's no showing them, because even if they're doing it to the kids, they still don't want to look at what they're doing is wrong. And even if they try to manipulate the child and say to the child, well, tell me what I'm doing wrong. You've heard it before too. Even if you don't have a child with a narcissist, I'm pretty sure the narcissist came to you and say, well, what am I doing so wrong? I'm not doing nothing really that wrong. Tell me what I'm doing and I'll fix it, to make you feel guilty for saying that they're doing something wrong. Well, at the end of the day, they do that with their kids as well. The same tactics that they used on you, they use with their child as they get older, right? This is why at the end of the day that happened, and I had to take a step back and I had to say to myself, okay, great. If there's no co-parenting with the narcissist, how can I now teach my daughter to learn the traits of the narcissist the toxic traits that her dad is using on her, without directly saying to her that her dad has toxic traits and her dad is, doing these toxic things to her. How I did that now is I turned around and I sat with my daughter and I said, okay, what is the definition of manipulation? What is the definition of, a narcissist? What is the definition of, someone trying to abuse you mentally and emotionally? Like, what do those tactics look like? And I just tried to help her to understand the certain toxic traits by not saying that her dad is doing it, but helping her to understand it. So then in future, if she ever comes across a narcissist, whether it be in the school environment, whether it be her friends, or she sees toxic traits that are being done to her in a relationship as she gets older, she'll be more aware and educated of those toxic traits. So then she'll be more able to step up and handle those situations and understand who these people are with these personality disorders. So I try to break it down to help my daughter to understand those personality traits of the narcissist, or just understanding manipulation in a whole. So then she can now be able to understand when her dad is using those types of traits and patterns against her, and take a step back. Because at the end of the day, us as parents, we always want to protect our children. But when you are dealing with a toxic parent and you are dealing with a narcissist that you're co-parenting with, you can't, it's coming to that realization that even though you want to protect your kids, even though you want to not see, you know, anybody be toxic or manipulative or, you know, aggressive, you know, belittling to your children, at the end of the day, I came to the realization kids have their own journeys to walk. So at the end of the day, I learned that I'm just going to be there for my daughter to educate her. That's the best that I can do, because we can't stop, each to its own. We can't stop, you know, our kids from seeing these toxic people, because at the end of the day, I don't know who's listening to this. It could be a dad, it could be a mom. They're still parents, regardless or not, right? They're still a part of your child's life, right? So at the end of the day, it's just knowing how to deal with them accordingly. And the biggest lesson that I learned in that situation is that I can only educate my daughter to be self-aware of these patterns and these traits, these toxic traits that her dad uses on her, so then she could be more aware of what's going on and what's happening towards her, what is wrong and what is right. And also teach my daughter on how to have healthy boundaries, right? What does that look like? Because I think that, you know, no matter the age, right, kids need to learn how to have healthy boundaries with friends, with family members, with their parents, even me. Even with me, I'm teaching my daughter how to have healthy boundaries with me, because I even have healthy boundaries with my daughter, no matter what. Because at the end of the day, if you are not right, how can you be right for other people, right? That you love and you care about. You can't show up for your loved ones if you're not doing well for yourself mentally and emotionally. So that's why healthy boundaries helps build that mental health, emotional health. Having healthy boundaries sets the tone to have self-love for self. So that's exactly through this situation is what I'm teaching my daughter, to have healthy boundaries with her father, who is a narcissist, right? What does healthy boundaries look like? And like I said, the only thing that you can really do when you're co-parenting with a narcissist is learn how to teach your children how to deal with narcissistic people with that personality trait, how to have healthy boundaries, right? And learning how yourself to step back and allow your children to go through the journey, and allow them to make their own decisions. If they still want to see their parent, if they still want to see that narcissistic parent, whether it be a father, mother, if they want to go see them, if they don't, with them being well aware on how to react and how to deal with speaking to them, right? And allow your children to go through on their own journey, and take a step back to look at self and say, even though that I want to be mama bear, even though I want to be a papa bear, and I want to protect and shield my kids, no matter what, they have to go through their own journey, right? And they have to experience, you know, these toxic people, right? Because at the end of the day, it's all, life is all but a learning lesson, whether that be for yourself as you being the parent, you're learning, you're evolving, or even for the child is learning, the child is evolving, right? And this is for like this conversation that I'm having with you. This is more so for like if you're dealing with a narcissist and you have a teenager with the narcissist. If you have a smaller child with a narcissist, this what I'm talking about still applies to you, right? It still applies to you, because at the end of the day, you're still on your learning journey, right? If you're a parent and you're dealing with a smaller child, you're still on your learning journey. You have to learn how to have healthy boundaries for you when you're co-parenting with a narcissist having a small child. You have to learn the tactics of, what's manipulation, and what are the toxic patterns and tactics that the narcissist uses on you instead of the child, because the child is too small. So regardless or not, this still works. This conversation and what I'm sharing with you still works for you, even if you have a smaller child, right? So it was things like this that made me learn to, embrace the situations that happen at hand when you're co-parenting with a narcissist, and say to yourself that it's all but a learning lesson. That each time you have a toxic argument or toxic situation dealing with the narcissist when you're co-parenting, it's all but a learning lesson. Each time that you experience a toxic situation with that narcissist, you learn more and more and more that you can't change these people. No matter how much you're a good parent to your kids, no matter how much you're a good person trying to, co-parent with this person, they are not going to change. They're toxic individuals who, no matter what, they will never see that and admit when they do things wrong. And even if they do, they'll always flip the script and turn around and make you feel bad, like you're the bad parent, that you're the one that's wrong, right? For bringing up certain situations that you see that they're tactics that they're using that's not beneficial for the kids. At the end of the day, no matter what, I came to realize the narcissist will always, even if they have children, right? You may see that, you want to do what's best for the child and you want to be the best parent you could be. At the end of the day, that's you. The narcissist will always be selfish and self-centered because it's always about them. Even if they have another kid, it's always about them. And I learned through my situation, when you call the narcissist out for the toxic patterns that they're doing to you, co-parenting, or the child, they'll always push it in your face that, oh, but everybody else says that I'm a good parent. Everybody else thinks that I'm a good parent. The only person that thinks I'm not a good parent is you. The only person that has a problem with me is you. I don't know if you guys are ever heard that, familiar response, right? I hear that all the time, because at the end of the day, remember, narcissists are all about ego. They will show everybody around them that they're doing what's best for their kid by maybe buying them nice things or telling everybody what they do for their kids, right? But at the end of the day, they're manipulative, they're gaslighting with either you, or if your child is older, with your child, right? So at the end of the day, that's not a good parent, right? If you're going to be gaslighting and manipulating your child and making your child feel guilty and constantly pushing things inside of your kid's face, and then like literally saying to your child that I'm doing this and I'm doing that, like at the end of the day, like each to its own. Everybody has their own opinion on how they see parenting is good or not good or whatever the case may be, but it's knowing who this narcissist is as parenting, and knowing that they're not going to change even if they have a kid with you. So coming to that realization that you can only do what you can do for your child, and showing up for being a better version for you and your child, and just being the best parent that you could be. So I hope that these tips helped you guys, to show you guys that if you guys are going through co-parenting with a narcissist, to stand in the facts, stand in knowing, who they are, that they're not going to change, and that the only thing that you could do when you're co-parenting with a narcissist is just be the best parent that you could be for your kid, and not focus on what they're saying to you, what they're, what the things that they're doing and not doing. At the end of the day, the only thing you can, do is be the best parent you can be, and allow that person to dig themselves in their own hole with showing up and being an actual parent for their kids. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys found value in this video, right, and it's helped motivate you, inspired you, or gave you some great tips to work on when co-parenting with the narcissist, make sure to hit that thumbs up, because what that does is it helps with the algorithm to get this video out to more people who need to hear this message. So make sure also you guys are joining the Wise Up Rise Up community to wise up and rise up above these narcissists, because at the end of the day, knowledge is power. But if you don't do nothing with that knowledge, honestly, your life is never going to change. It's never going to get better, and you're going to keep hitting a brick wall and digging yourself in a darker hole and trying to figure out how you can overcome, co-parenting or becoming a better parent with that narcissist, because they're not going to change. So that's why I'm trying to help as many people as out there to be more knowledgeable and find the right tools and to implement to be the best that you can be with, recovering from this narcissistic abuse that either your kids are going through or you're going through. Again, thank you so much for watching, you guys. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button as well. And if you ever need a one-on-one, to get specific advice based on your current situation, you can always book a one-on-one session with me. My link will be in the comments, you guys. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in. I'll see you guys again on another video. Take care.